Hey guys, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. We got a lot of requests for this one. It's how do I practice singing? Practice singing. Well, that can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people too, because what one guy has to practice for something, maybe singing for an hour and a half, might be different than someone that's practicing one song for their school or a wedding or a function or a show, a gig or something. So there's a lot of a dynamic range in that, and not one size fits all. But let me kind of tell you how I practice singing, and then you can decide how much of that you can see fit into your schedule, okay? Now, by the way, there's an old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, that's actually a very dysfunctional saying, and let me tell you why. Practice doesn't make perfect, because you can practice something wrong and embed something wrong, and you can actually multiply your problems over time. It's perfect practice makes perfect, okay? Now, I want to take you down a chain of how this sort of works when we practice something, and I don't care if it's a sport, I don't care if it's singing, it doesn't matter what it is. We start out with something called unconscious incompetent. And what that means is I don't know, what I'm doing, and I don't know how to do it. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing or what I want or what I need, and I don't know how to get there. So there's unconscious incompetent. Then there's conscious incompetent. Okay, I know what I want, I know what I'd like to sound like, but I still can't do it. Then there's conscious competent, saying, all right, this is starting to feel really good now. I know what I want, and with a little bit of work, I know how to get there. And then there's unconscious competent of, all right, I've gone through the stages, I know what I want, I know how to get there, I've practiced it so much that now I don't have to think about it, and it comes automatically, or it comes as a response of all of my efforts up to this point. This is a pretty important food chain to understand, how to get a chain of events, a daisy chain, of how you can kind of get to this point. So let's do this again. So I don't know how to get somewhere. I don't even really know what I want, and I don't know how to get there. I know what I want. I don't know how to get there. I know what I want, and I know how to get there. I don't need to think about it anymore, and it becomes natural, like a natural response. So ultimately, that's what we want as our goal, right? So let's talk about how I practice. Now, depending on what I'm practicing for, I virtually never practice distortion. That might surprise some of you guys, because I'm not looking to embed distortion into my voice that comes naturally from singing for long hours and singing hard and pushing into a sound. So what I'll do is I'll warm up really clean for long periods of time, and then over time I'll kind of push into it when I'm working at my music or trying to sing a White Snake song or a Dio song or an Iron Maiden song, or whoever sings with distortion, or a clean guy, whatever it is. I'll kind of put myself in that style, and I'll practice with a view towards that, okay? But ultimately, I have a singing course, by the way, called How to Sing Better Than Anyone Else, and I cover this exact subject of how to practice, because you want to practice within your means, your vocal means, and you want to understand, you want to get out of unconscious incompetent to move at least to conscious competent, to go, okay, I know what I want or what I like, and I know I can't get there quite yet, and it's a little frustrating, but you start to see these successes. It's kind of like a good stock, right? A good stock is in the stock market. You'll kind of like go up, and then maybe kind of go down a bit, and it's kind of frustrating, and then you go up, and you kind of come down, and you kind of feel like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It seems kind of frustrating. But if you look at a good stock over time, and you go, in a year, wow, I have come a long way because I did these correct things that I practiced to. So what I would recommend is that you stay with things that are well within your range and your means. Understand the building blocks, the basic building blocks of what's important. The very first thing is support. Without good, strong support or understanding support and knowing how to use it, you ain't going nowhere, man. The equilibrium will break down over and over and over again, and you will never achieve what it is you're ultimately looking for your voice. So you start with the core, your abdominal strength, and your diaphragm. The next thing is we practice vowel placements in the throat for a relaxation response. So God has given us these really cool little amphitheaters that when the vowel is correct, it can rest into the vowel without feeling that tension or squeezing to get up into certain sounds, right? So we practice different vowel placements and also vowel modifications. So as we go up, we ascend a scale, we pare a sound down and make it smaller so it doesn't become top heavy and splat, as they say, or literally like Hercules trying to hold up the world with this note. No, we pare the sound down and make it smaller, and then we reopen that sound back down to the bottom. So we practice different scales, and then what we do is we start to apply those scales. You're saying, Ken, but I just want to learn songs. I just want to sing songs great. And how does this work with songs? I get that, and trust me. So as we embed this good information, and as we at least move to conscious competent, I know what I'm doing. I know how to get there. It's a lot of work. I make a little mistake here and there, but I know how to fix it. We can start incorporating all of our training that we've done with the scales themselves and move on into applying how we apply that or with a practical application for singing. So I would commend you, and I've said this before, once you've worked out these different scales, and see all my tutorials. God, I have so many tutorials on this stuff. I can't cover like all the scales and how we do the scales and in one video. I've got to tell you how you should practice, and then go glean and pick the nuggets that I have out, or get my singing course, which is massively expanded from my videos themselves, and then start to take your practice seriously and move into a serious practice. Now, getting back to how I practice is I have a regimen. I do it every day, and I practice for at least an hour. I warm up for an hour straight, and I go through my scales. Yep, still have to do it. Sorry, I'm mortal, just like everybody else. I didn't open my mouth out of the womb and start singing great. It didn't happen for me. I had to work very hard at my notes. In fact, those of you that know me know that I'm a baritone, and some of my highest notes, my highest note here when I was younger, was, hey! That was my highest note. Like I can go an octave of that really easy and really quickly now because I know what I'm doing, but it took a long time to understand how to get there. So I just want to emphasize to you guys it didn't happen overnight. Again, this is not something where you see this commercial where some super buff guy or buff chick walks out and goes, in 3 weeks I was able to do this. That's a lie from the pit of hell. If you can get really good gains on your voice in about a year, I think that's setting a good goal for yourself. So set a goal of 3 months, and then 6 months, and then a year to monitor your progress and see how you're doing. So as you're going through the process of this, set yourself like, say, okay, my highest note is, let's say, an E4 or whatever your red range is. I'd love to just get 1 or 2 more notes in the next 6 months. That would be awesome. That's putting a lot of extra range on your voice if you can do that. And then as you continue to prod and move forward towards this, over time you'll get more and more range. Now, again, I cover all this stuff in my singing course because there's a very specific sequence on how to do this. It's not a random cherry picking of going, oh, I'll take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I'll try to combine it all together in my own sort of method. That's dangerous because then it's like learning several languages at once. In fact, that's true for learning other people's methods. I wouldn't even recommend learning my method if you're already learning someone else's method and you think they're great and you're getting gains from it. Stay with their course for a while, man. Check it out. See if it really benefits you. Because it's like learning 3 different languages. Let's say you got 3 different courses going on. I want to learn SLS. I want to learn Ken Tamplin's open throat technique. I want to learn blah, 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 so-and-so. And you try to combine this. Imagine trying to learn Spanish, German, and Japanese all at once. You can't. You can't combine that all together. Stick with one, get good at it, see if it benefits you and how much, and then if that doesn't or does work, then move on to the next language and learn that. These are the most effective ways to practice, all right? So again, stop by my singers forums. We have over 11,000 members in there. It's growing like crazy. Check out my singing course at kentamplinvocalacademy.com if you want to take your studies further. You hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest, Instagram. I'm out there all over the place, you guys. So again, until next time, peace out. Cut!